Except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known. It would have kept me from the one I had today. Except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known. Would have kept me from the one I had today.
LaVern, and this is One Street Over. Yeah, we getting at it again this morning. Welcome to it. Tuesday morning, kiddos go back to school today. Yes, the teachers had our professional development day. And for my group, we went all over town and looked at cool stuff. And I'm telling you, Tate Ornamental, man, that's a cool place. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Man, that's cool.
Hey,
that's so cool.
did y'all go in it?
Yes.
Hey, that is a lot of money in there.
Oh,
the
man.
Machinery and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the coolest places. I really enjoyed that. A lot of walking, though, I'll tell you. My new knee was like screaming at me, but I stuck in there. It's good. It's good. But that was a lot more walking, I think, than my new knee was ready for. But I was a trooper, and it was fascinating. And they are doing this big. They're the ones going to be doing the fencing and the gating and all of those things for. Is it Epic Park that's going to be down in or Universal Studios?
Yeah,
is in Epic Park. So we were all just going, oh, this is so cool. And it was so funny. One of my friends, Miss Richards, she goes, now I've got to go. You know, because we're like, we're seeing it. And so now we got to go see it, you know, but it was just neat. And I'm telling you, that amazing, beautiful work that they do.
Well, I hope there's kids
so
listening,
impressed.
which I think they're probably all trying to get on the bus right now. But
some of them,
there's some jobs in places like that uses those machines. If you ever get knowledge and qualify, those are some great jobs. And I'm talking about, it's not dusty or nothing in there. It's clean. It is clean.
It's wonderful. And it was so funny because, I mean, they have jobs at Tate Ornamental, especially. I was so, I mean, and we went to TCAT up in Portland.
Yep.
Saw all the amazing classes. And I love welding, and I love the welding instructor there. Oh my gosh, he was hysterical. And his name is Colton something. I think his name's somebody. If somebody knows him, you'll remind me. But he was awesome, and just all of it. The machinery guy, and I can't remember his name, that teaches them to make parts, and it was so cool. The programs that we saw at TCAT. We went to Shoals Electric, which is a cool place too, that make the connectors for solar panels. And I mean, it was just amazing, the stuff that's going on in our county. And just, that's the reason why our professional development day for the career and technical education folks, that's why they sent us there, is so we can go back with all this enthusiasm and talk to our kids, because that's what I remind my kids of. I teach audio and video production, but I am a career teacher. It is my job to make sure you understand the careers that are available to you. And I mean, I've got my class right now, my homeroom. We call them cat time. I've had them since I started teaching, and they're my kids, and I love them to pieces. And I want to see them all succeed. And you know, and I have conversations with them like, what are you doing the minute you walk across that stage? Because this is it. This is the year, you know. And so I've got 2 or 3 kind of on my radar that we got to sit down and have a real serious talk, because they don't really have a plan.
Well, last week I was at a dinner. AirTech sponsored it, and it was about
AirTech.
the businesses and factories and industrial people around Robinson County are fixing to start letting kids come in there during their school time to learn a trade. That way, when they come right out of high school, they're already qualified.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, I never heard of, when I was a kid, we didn't have opportunities like that.
No, we didn't either. And it's so funny because listening to the gentleman, I'm Mr. Tate, I'm sure he's one of the owners, and he and I didn't catch his first name because I just, it was a lot, but anyway, I'm sure, and forgive me, sir, because what an accomplishment. I mean, wow, that's quite a facility. But he was talking about they try to do that with kids and bring them in and mentor them in the things that they need specifically. But it was quite impressive. All of it was impressive. I mean, everything we saw yesterday was very, very impressive. And it's one of those things. It's kind of like a catch-22. I could have really used just a day uninterrupted in my classroom with nobody bothering me so I could work on my curriculum, because I just constantly need to be working on that. But that was very enlightening. And I was tickled to see all of that going on in our community.
LaVern,
amazing.
I think it's very important that these kids know that there's options other than college. It's out there.
College isn't for everybody.
And I told them that when I go to these graduations at the end of the year, and I see these kids with all these cords on and ribbons, and I said, the kids that go through these programs to learn, and they got a job waiting on them, that'll be recognized just like the ones that go to college.
Well, and I think in a way that they are, because those cords, sir, are
black and gray ones, or black and silver.
They're all different kinds.
Yeah, but the black and silver recognize them.
Well, and there's ones that are certification cords, and we've got this new program now. It's called the Employability Certification. That is we call it mandatory because we want the kids to take it seriously. It's an expectation of the school board that they want this to happen. But what it basically is if they want any kind of recognition for any other certification that they've gotten from OSHA or anything else business, they also have to have this one. And it is just employability skills, communications, and things that you need when you come into the workforce. And it's an excellent program, but it's about 30 hours of work.
Yeah.
And so that's what we've been doing with our seniors during homeroom. And we've got a couple of the classes set up that are working on it. My class is, and who else did we get set up? Coach Wood, we got his class set up, and I'm trying to get the rest of them set up this week because that's my one of my things I've been set to facilitate is getting these kids on this program. But there's just all kinds, but those cords usually, they can be clubs and honors.
Oh,
and
yeah,
like
beta
that.
club and everything, yeah.
But a lot of them now are certification driven, and that means that they've done some extra work or they've done some dual enrollment, things like that.
And some of the biggest applause at the graduations is the kids just going into the armed services.
I've got one in my class right now that he came back from summer. And I said, so how was your summer? And he goes, I'm enlisted, Miss Vivio.
Yeah.
Jackson Dawson, he's already got orders for the Navy in June.
I've got a grandson going through the ROTC.
Yeah.
He loves it. He loves it.
Yeah, for sure. So, yesterday, the teachers, we were out running around doing a lot of stuff. And my group, my goodness, we saw some amazing things. And I had no idea Tate Ornamental even existed. I had no clue. And I was so impressed. I was like, wow, that's the kind of place. If I didn't do what I did, I love working with my hands. I would love to work there, just to learn all that stuff. That is a cool place. I just was so impressed. It was neat. It was a neat place to visit. So great. It looked like a great work environment too. But there's so many places like that here in Robertson County too, like I said, Shoals Electric was another one that, and it was impressive. And TCAT, wow. Those are some programs that are just impressive. So anyway, that's what my day was like yesterday.
Mine was pretty well full too. It was probably 8:30 or 9 if I got home last night.
Well, and I forgot to confirm with you, and I appreciate you confirming. It's like, hey, I'll be there in the morning. I'm like, yes, thank you.
Well, I know
because I forgot to mention.
I know for 6 years now, the day after county commission, I'm at the radio station.
That's right. That's what you do, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, we got a full day today. I got the radio station at 7. 8 o'clock is the CASA recognition breakfast, and at 9 is 911 meeting. And at 10 o'clock, we're having the DAR ladies come over for their resolution.
That is the Daughters of the American Revolution, because this is Constitution Week.
That's right.
I mentioned that yesterday. It was Constitution Day. Today is Constitution, or no, today is Constitution Day, I think. I forget. I'm wanting to say it's the 17th, but it's Constitution Week.
Yeah.
Get the little Trash or Treasure, the Let's Talk Trash magazine that the Keenan Group puts out, and Debbie and Bob Keenan, and that will tell you all about it, because it's always got the Constitution in it, and for the one that comes out during Constitution Week. So go pick that up, and that'll kind of clarify it for you.
September's resolution month, I think. Because when I get in my communications, I'll tell you what all we kind of recognized this month. It stays full.
Well, and you've got one you're getting ready to do.
This one here's for CASA this morning.
So what are they doing? What are they doing this morning?
They're having a breakfast, but they're just really recognizing how important this program is. When we was talking earlier, the kids kind of fall through the cracks on the opioid deal. The money's being come through the counties and states now from the lawsuit settlement, but still, when these kids are left at home at night, and maybe mom and dad's been, got picked up or something because of opioids, they're hungry, they got nowhere to go, and they're scared to death. Yeah. Well, CASA's got like maybe 2 people on payroll, rest of them are volunteers. In the middle of the night, they will take these kids to a safe place and stay with them until the state can pick them up. And not, it's not only just them.
Isaiah House.
The Isaiah House. We gave opioid money to them, and that is such a wonderful thing, because the Isaiah House is kind of like maybe the spouse and the kids, are being taken care of while in a situation like that.
Well, and Isaiah, we had Misty Romero. She is the site director or location director, I think, of this one here. I think that's her title. But nonetheless, she is huge in what has been done to get Isaiah House. Isaiah 117 House is a place. So the kids, if they have to be taken out of the custody of the parents, instead of going over to a government office and sitting in a cubicle until they can get foster parents to pick them up or some kind of a placement for them, the Isaiah House is a place that's like a house, and it's a home, and there's beds, and there's toys, and there's good food, and people there to love and care for them on what's the toughest day of their life. That's how Misty. And once you really realize what's happening to these kids, you can't not see it, and you want to be a part of the solution. And then CASA, court-appointed special advocates, the kids will get a court-appointed special advocate once they start having to go through the court system. So their social worker may change. The people who they see in all different walks of the journey that they're going to have through the court system may change, but their CASA will never change. And that's what's so beautiful. And that's the goal. And that's not to say that it doesn't occasionally happen, but the goal is to make sure that CASA is the same person, so they've got a familiar face, somebody that they can identify and connect with. But we've got some amazing programs here in Robertson County, and those are 2 that I'm just so proud of.
That is the voice of those children.
You bet.
That's their voice. Yeah. Where that child has a voice in court and about what happens in their lives at a terrible time when they're really being influenced.
Well, so you're getting a resolution today from the county mayor, and then you've got Daughters of American Revolution later today getting a resolution, and it is Constitution Week. So, wow, it took us 13 minutes to say hello and just kind of unpack the general things going on. So go for it, Mayor. What have you got for us today?
Before I get started, I want to congratulate all of Robertson County for the rain Saturday afternoon. Wasn't that a blessing?
Absolutely.
I just stood out in it.
I did too. We didn't stand out in it, but we were on the porch enjoying it. We were letting it blow through, boy. Woo.
And then I loaded the dogs up in the truck, and I carried them riding in the rain. Because it was, we just dusty, and the ground's so dry. Yeah. These soybeans are hurting. And this morning coming out here, it was still dark, and the kids are at school, school bus stops. Watch out for them. The days are getting shorter now. Yeah. They're going to be in the dark morning and night for long. Because when does the time change?
First week of November. It's the first Sunday in November is when we fall back. And I'm thrilled, and I think that's been adjusted, because I think it used to be during October.
I think it was,
and it would be that Halloween would be so dark, and so now at least the kids can be out trick or treating before the time changes, and that gives us a little bit of relief, because Because I think it was. I think it was in October before, and I don't know. I wish they would just leave it alone.
I wish they'd leave it alone too.
Just stop it.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah, they're not going to.
We're creatures of habit, and I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not used to that.
Because when you think about the reason why they did that, it was for farming and all of that, and that's still nice. But there's not a whole lot of people farming.
No, and
a
lot of people, when it just gets dark, they'll go in. It don't matter what time it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, brother, let's go.
I'm in my communications last night. First thing right out the gate, the Greenbrier 6 and under All-Star softball team. We recognized them.
Yeah.
We had a resolution for them. I love aggravating little kids. I do. They were first graders. This is the first year they ever had a softball in like a World Series for that age group. And they took part in the Diamond World Softball World Series held in Fairview, Tennessee. And this was for girls from 6 age to 18 from across the Southeast. They took part in this occasion. The talented Greenbrier team went undefeated in the district and state, outscoring their opponents 77-19. Okay, which they played hard, but they came in third place after falling to Mississippi in the semifinals. And I tell you what, those kids, them girls were so, engaged. We had them lead the Pledge of Allegiance last night, and I've never heard a more enthusiastic bunch of kids do the pledge.
I love it.
They were louder than everybody else in the room.
I got to tell you, I just got to tell you something real quick. We were talking with, I guess it was Colton. I think his name is Colton, the guy that does the welding up at TCAP. And I think that he is the one that said this. He said that the kids coming out of Robertson County, he goes, they get them from other counties. He says, but the kids that come out of Robertson County have got a better work ethic. They're more respectful. And he just said, we have no complaints with Robertson County kids. And he really paid us a really big compliment, because I know all of us teachers, we deal with knuckleheads. But by the whole, our kids, he said, are standouts. And they're just respectful. And they come in there, they know how to work, they know they got to get there on time, things like that. So we're doing something right here in Robertson County, y'all. And you're talking about those kids being enthusiastic about their country. Yeah. We're doing something right. So we just got to make sure we keep our eyes on it.
Right here's one of the main reasons. I'm going to go ahead and mention the head coach, Ashley Burton, and the Wayne Parrish, Justin Grogan, and Nick Hudgens. I recognize the kids, but it takes people like that to pull them all together and have something. I'm telling you, being a coach is tough.
Yes.
If we could leave some of the parents at home, we'd have a real good time.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to do some coaching. Yeah.
Yes.
Also, in my communications, we had a proclamation. This is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Mm-hmm. This proclamation's long, as far as reading, but just the last paragraph says it all. That it's taking time to inquire the well-being of a family, friends, and genuinely convey their appreciation for the existence of any gesture they deem appropriate. With just a phone call, a message, a handshake, or a hug may go a long way toward helping someone realize that suicide is not the answer.
Amen.
So we did recognize Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. I want to give a shout out to I got so many papers here. Shout out to Stephanie Evans. She heads that Suicide Prevention Awareness Month up and does a lot of work with it. She's handing out material like in little magnets you put on refrigerators. Yeah. And the main number to call is 988. 911 is for emergencies, but if you know somebody or if you're being harassed, you're depressed, and you want to talk to somebody, dial 988. Mm-hmm.
We had some posters around the school with that on there last year, and I think whenever they were cleaning, they got taken down. So we need to put some new ones up. And it had slipped my mind that September was Suicide Awareness Month. I'm glad you mentioned that because it had completely slipped my mind.
Well, those operators are 24/7 and 988. Don't forget that number and pass it around because we need to be aware of this. It starts with a thought in their mind. It's when people run out of hope. And
people, you would just be stunned at how many people are affected by it, how many people have been touched by it. It is breathtaking. When I different kids I talk to and find out that it's part of their story, and it's just you just can't imagine how many families it's touched. So please, 988, share that number, 988.
Yeah. Wow. It's here in Robertson County, folks. We need that too.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, I had a letter from Tennessee Comptroller of the Treasurer sent to Robeson County Comptroller, Mr. Mumpire. They recognize that we have done our budget for the year 2025. They, we did it on time, and they're okay with our budget. It shows that we're fiscally in line with state regulations, and so we adopted by the County Commission, and it's just their letter saying, good job, and hey, we're ready for another year of business.
Awesome.
In Robeson County. It's kind of just, like I say, just homework or something like that. All right, and last, not last, also, I recognized the Robeson County Chamber. And I'm real big on the Chamber. I didn't realize as a county commissioner how much the Chamber does. But as I became mayor and I got to seeing about how important it is for people to spend their money in Robeson County, it's very important if you can. I realize
the industrial board too.
Industrial board.
County, the Chamber of Commerce and the industrial board, they were the ones who put this thing on for the teachers for CTE yesterday. So Chamber was, Jordan was with the group that my husband was with, and we had then the industrial board, and her name is escaping me right
Vonda
now.
Gates.
The real cute little dark-haired girl.
Oh, that's Sarah. Yeah, Sarah.
Doll, but she was with us, and she was our liaison. But yeah, we had just great time yesterday. But it was the Chamber and the Industrial Board that really put that on.
Trust me, as the mayor, I can tell you this bunch is very involved because they've got me hopping all the time. But our Robeson County Chamber was named the Tennessee Chamber of Commerce and Industry of the Year for 2024. Folks, that is a great big honor. Of all the chambers in the 95 counties, we're talking about statewide, Robeson County is recognized as number one for the work they do.
Outstanding.
Also, Carly Rager, the Chamber's Director of Marketing and Events, was named the Chamber Professional of the Year.
Awesome.
So I recognize Jordan Osmond and Carly and that staff for the work they do of getting people to come into Robeson County, spend their money, and then turn around and go back home at night. Yeah, I love it. And you just don't know how important sales tax dollars is to us because it does run our school system and a lot of other things.
Well, and they had their big event this past weekend, Experience Robeson County.
Yeah.
And I think it went well because I think the rain held off, to where most people got through the day. We were on baseball. We had baseball, and then I had a friend of mine, Christy Driscoll. Congratulations, Chief. She got big, huge military promotion. We went to that, but that was very cool. So
I didn't get to make it either.
Yeah.
This weekend, I had the pleasure. I was invited. Miss Mildred Baggett had her 101 birthday.
Oh, wow.
And she's at HCA, but still,
Yeah.
She was tickled to see everybody, and her family was there, and the pictures. Seeing somebody that age,
Yeah.
and she told me, she said, "Hey, I don't have an ache and a pain in the world."
Bless her. She's how old?
101.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And it was pretty cool. It really was. It almost brings tears to your eyes to see somebody that happy at that age.
Yeah.
But can you imagine what all she has seen in her lifetime?
Oh, yeah. A lot.
Yeah. Somebody just needs to write a book about it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And I think I'm wrapping up on the communications. Veterans got up and spoke last night about what all they do. I don't think people realize the hours they put in. And a lot of these people, they have to go see them at their homes. And we're talking about weekends and nights. Robeson County, year 23, brought in close to $50 million into the county for veterans through this veteran services.
That's incredible.
And if you don't know, their office is up at the Robeson County Plaza now. It's just something that I felt like they need to be front and center. They've got a little bigger office because we did have them where the creek.
Well, they're with you now.
Yeah. So. And I see, it's now up at the plaza. It's I think that plaza's changed the whole look of that hillside, and just showing that Robeson County is growing. And folks, Don't think all that was done with taxpayer money. I guess it was, but it was COVID money that we received from the federal government, and we used it for remodeling and doing some parking. We had to have some parking.
You had to do something, and with the courthouse being under,
Yeah.
renovation right now because of the damage from the
Storm,
leak.
yeah.
And I mean, you guys needed to make some changes, so it worked.
If you go by the courthouse, they've got a string all around a ribbon. And yesterday was the day that everybody had to be out. I went in there this morning, and it's plumb creepy looking. It's about as spooky in there. There's not even a desk or nothing left in there.
Is the bell still ringing?
The bell is still ringing, and hopefully the electricity will stay on.
Well, I think today, and you have to talk to the DAR ladies today when they come in. I think it's today at a set time. Those bells are supposed to ring for the Constitution. I think it may have been last night, but I really think it's tonight because she was on last week with me and ask them if you think about it.
I will.
Because, man, I would really love to hear ours ringing too. And maybe they plan on it. But a lot of the churches will ring their bells, and I'm really thinking. But they have a bell ringing ceremony, and it's about because bell ringing. And she and I talked a little bit about this. I have, do you have an old farm bell?
My family had one.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, as the farm was sold off, the bell ended up with part of the family. Where's it at exactly? But I remember I rang it one time as a kid, and all the neighbors came running. Because
that's what it's for.
Well, my granddaddy got on to me. He did.
Yeah. You don't ring the bell unless. Well, I'll tell you. I have a farm bell that my father bought me when we bought this farm up here. He found it at a sale, and it's an old bell that he gave me. He goes, you need a farm bell. And then the one that was on my mother's family's property is on the farm in Kentucky. And so these old farm bells, that's how they would communicate. You'd call people in for dinner and stuff, but that was about emergencies.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it's my sister. She found her. We had always been told about the bell, calling people in, because we always had them. And my sister, this is a tragic story, but she came home from something on a Saturday, found her husband had passed away, and she was just so overwhelmed. She didn't know what to do. She didn't know. I mean, she just kind of froze. And she said because she remembered the stories that my grandparents, my mama and papa used to tell about ringing the bell in an emergency. She went out to her car and just started honking the horn.
Yeah.
And that's how she got help.
Well,
but it was the same story. And those bells were important. But
yeah, I mean,
that's why the ringing the bell.
They didn't have phones back then. You drove to somebody's house in the city to use a phone.
If there's supposed to be a bell ceremony, we need to have one here on the square. I would love for that to happen. But anyway, bells were very important back then.
Okay.
Anyway,
now part of communication with Steve Sars got up, and he told all county commissioners October the 30th, they would love to, he used the word limousines, that everybody was going to load on a limousine and go around from school to school, looking at which schools needed some projects done, go in the classroom and see what was being offered, just to kind of give the commissioners, just a chance to see what's going on during the day.
Limousine, though?
Well, the limousine turned out to be them big yellow buses.
Okay.
Yeah, the big yellow buses.
There's some nice ones. We were on
yesterday. I told him, I said, yeah, when you was talking limousines, I said, I was thinking had to get you back in front of the budget committee. Because I don't think we had that budgeted to ride around limousines.
It was funny.
But they was, I plan on doing that, going to a couple of schools. And they're even inviting them to eat dinner with the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do you go in the cafeteria during the day and eat with them?
I have to get my lunch down within 20 minutes. So if I do, teachers, there's teachers that are there all the time. That's part of their duty through the day. I wish I could block out time to do it, but no, I don't.
I remember.
No, I would love to be in there, but I get just this much time. I mean, just such a breath to get my own lunch eaten. If I were to go down there and try, it would be impossible.
I remember teachers running in, grabbing something, and running back out. Yeah. Getting ready for the day.
I bring mine. I'm a pack a pail person.
Well,
so,
I eat at the office every day for dinner and eat breakfast every morning driving down the road.
Yeah. Do you pack a lunch or do you go out and get it?
I usually go to the store and just buy some stuff and put it in the cabinet. And
whatever you happen to have.
Just whatever I happen to have. Yeah. I'm not really used to going anywhere and sitting down.
I'm not either. I'm not a person that goes and eats out very much.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people, you know, it's funny when I do, you know, sometimes I'm sitting by myself and they don't recognize who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I went to one restaurant, and this is getting off base. And this lady said, do you mind if I sit down and eat with you? And I looked at her, I said, no, ma'am, I don't. Well, she talked through the whole meal. And then she finally asked me who I was. And I told her, she said, you know, I've heard of your name somewhere. But, you know, I never did volunteer. I was the mayor.
That's hysterical. Yeah. That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's
but
funny.
Man, she talked like a parrot. I ain't kidding. All right. And that was all of my communications last night. We had a full house of communication. Yeah. Didn't have any public comments. Now, before we do a meeting, you sign a sheet if you want to talk on anything that's on the agenda. You can't get off the agenda now because we'll be headed down a road to keep us to midnight. But didn't have anybody that wanted to talk on it, which was on the agenda, which, you know, that's good. So that means everybody's reasonably happy. We done our reports last night. There was maybe a little discussion during the reports. We had 9 reports. It's always the highway, veteran services, trustees, animal control. We're fixing to, I'll announce it. We're going to have a day where you can adopt a pet free. We picked up 25 at one house last month. So we're getting kind of high in numbers, folks. Now, these dogs will not be adopted out until they've had their shots, clean bill of health. It's not like you're picking up something that might be sick or injured, okay? So, but we're going to try to have a free day to help get rid of these animals.
25
at one house,
was it cats, dogs, or just dogs? Or?
A lot of them are dogs, yeah.
It's mostly dogs.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, wow.
25. Oh, I can't even imagine. Oh.
Yeah. Hopefully they're not evidence dogs. We want to get them moved pretty quick.
Well, y'all got a thing now though that they have to either pay to have them in the. Can you explain that? Because I think that's good.
When I first got elected, I went over to animal control. It breaks my heart when I go over.
Oh, I know.
It breaks my heart. I'm talking about a good bunch of animals jumping up at you, want you to pet them through the cage, and but I noticed there was 4 or 5 cages said not for adoption, and I said, "What's the deal here?" And they said these dogs were in evidence in a court case, whether it be divorce or maybe abuse, and some of them been there a year.
Yeah.
So
we're paying for it.
Right.
Not
so
anymore.
I went to the DA and we talked about it, and we're getting these cases moved up. Yeah. Or the people have to sign something waiving that they're giving the dogs up.
Yeah, because otherwise I think they should be responsible for the cost.
I do too.
Yeah, and I think that's the
well, it's not fair to the dog either.
Yeah.
And it's but, I mean, can you imagine? I mean, you're just out of sight, out of mind. Mm-hmm. And that's the way animal control is. Yeah. It's out of sight, out of mind. You know, I've said it over and over, and you've heard me on this station. We don't have an animal problem. We got a people problem.
Yes, we do.
We do. We do. 25 dogs at one house. Come on.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, can you imagine what it would cost to feed 25 dogs today?
Yeah.
And some of them evidently don't get fed.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're out in the weather and all.
I love the idea of a free adoption day, though. I think
yeah.
that'd be wonderful.
Oh, hey, I think that's something we're going to start doing quarterly.
I love that.
I mean, that's cheaper than having to feed them all the time.
You bet.
Yeah. I don't want people to wait till it's free day, but still, you've got to. I don't want to have to put them down. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. And people who really want an animal, they'll go ahead and adopt it. I mean, because if you've got an animal you've got your eye on, you want to get it before somebody else does. So they're not going to wait for free day. They're going to go in, and if it's somebody that's really wanting a specific animal, you know, and because I mean, we all have our favorites that we watch out for.
Yep.
You know? But,
yeah,
for sure. But there's some sweet animals waiting to be adopted, guys. Go check them out. What else you got for us?
Okay, we have our reports. So we'll go through planning, the EMA report, EMS report, the solid waste report, and finally finance. You know, I've had a lot of people. Let me talk about solid waste. I've had a lot of people tell me on Saturday, "Why are you closing so early?" And to me, dinner's not early. You know, if you get up and get out and do things, but every night that trash is supposed to be cleaned off that floor. Yeah. And we don't take commercial on Saturday, just the people of Robeson County, because we have to get that floor cleaned up and get that trash gone. And the company that loads our trash out does not want to be there at 10, 11 o'clock on Saturday nights loading out trash.
Right.
For one thing, it's expensive. And another thing is you just can't get people to work like we used to that late on Saturdays. So we had to shut down at dinner, get the floor cleaned
and he
up.
means lunch.
Yeah, lunch. Yeah.
I'd say dinner too, but he means like noon. So
Yeah, supper's at night, gang.
thank you. That's me. I'm the same. But we're old school, brother. We're old school. Dinner's at noon and supper's in the evening.
Yeah, I'm sorry if y'all
as soon as you said dinner, I thought, no, lunch. That's what people call lunch now.
I'm sorry if y'all think that we're shutting down early, but really it's open at 7, so you got 4 hours to get up there and do that. Yeah. Plus, when you going home and watching your ball games in the afternoon, there's still people there working. They're still taking care of the trash and loading the trucks up. And here's the thing: you get all the trucks loaded up, they're loaded.
So you can't 7 to 11 then?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so 4 hours. I was going to say if it's until noon, but it's about 7 to 11.
11, something like that. If you're there in line at 11, they'll unload you. If you're not there at 11, somebody's standing there at the end of that line.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're going to get mad if you get turned away. But we only have so many trucks to load because we don't get any trucks unloaded on Saturdays much. All the landfills are kind of shutting down or just doing customers only, So it's a lot of trash. This is a problem that's going to get worse as we grow. Whether around Nashville or anywhere, it's going to be a problem. I don't think Nashville has decided yet what they're going to do when they lose their spot in Rutherford County.
Let me go ahead and do a break.
Yes, it is time.
Let's take a minute. Let's talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. I mentioned them yesterday as being mentors for those who want to go into real estate. We had a retreat at the church camp for my church for Ukraine refugees this past weekend. It was just amazing. And I met this woman, and she was a real estate agent in Ukraine, and now she's making pizzas. So I'm going to make a call and try to see if I can't get them connected somehow to where, that's going to be a lot because, you got to learn all the American laws and things like that. But guys, if you've got somebody that wants to be mentored in real estate and learn the ins and outs of it and learn how the whole system works, Barry and Rebecca would love to talk to you. They would love to mentor you to help them because they came out of other jobs. He was a marketer. She was a radiologist. She's been at it a long time, one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. I'm thinking he's been full-time real estate about 5-6 years now, but they're up in Cross Plains. They've been there for nearly 30 years. So they're Robertson Countyans. They specialize in Robertson County properties, but they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. They're from Kentucky like me, so they know Kentucky very well as well. Very diverse background, so they can bring all that expertise to the table. If you've got somebody that has any interest in real estate, you've got property to buy, you've got property to sell, they're experts at that. But if you've got somebody that wants to be a realtor, they can help there as well as mentors. Barry's office is a brokerage office here in downtown Springfield, and Rebecca's office is a agency office that is up in White House. So whatever it is you're looking for, give them a call today, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. So with Becky.com, by BY, RobertsonCounty.com. Other ways you can contact them, but please always let them know that U-Turn sent you. Mayor Billy Vogle in the house, getting through the county.
We have our biggest turnover in nominations is September, starting going into the new year, and then we'll have January appointments. But last night we had to elect the chair of the county commission. I was proud to be elected to lead the county commission as chairman again. Chairman pro tem is Faye Stubblefield. We went through an election on finance management. Finance management is where we get bids on tires, gas, fuel, asphalt, whatever the schools is getting with its desk, books. They look over the bids and be sure that we're getting a reliable company that you can depend on, plus getting the best buy for the buck. We have a handicap advisory board, which has got a lot of citizens on it. Our beverage committee, of course, Robertson County doesn't have a lot of stores that sell alcoholic beverages, but if you have an event on weekends, you need a license just for a permit for the weekend, you go in front of this committee. Our building and grounds, which takes care of all our buildings. We have a fire committee that works with all the fire chiefs across the county to ensure that we can get you the best ISO ratings we can get. Law enforcement committee, delinquent tax. They're getting to meet real regular. We got a lot of property that's on the books that's maybe been forsaken, forgotten, or whatever growed up. We're working with the cities to get these property back on the books, bringing in revenue for the county. And we sold one the other day, and there's a lot of people that will call and want to know about certain properties. I went through some one time looking at them, and I found on the road that I lived near, and I thought, where's a piece of property on that road that's not being taxed? And I done research, and what it was a guy's driveway that used to belong to a neighbor, and he didn't even know that he didn't even own it. Yeah, his own driveway. So he went and made a bid on it and got it.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah, but somebody could have bought that.
You better believe it could have caused him all kinds of problems.
Right, so know where your property lines are. And if you've got a piece of property that might have been divided, that if there's an easement there that you don't know about and somebody's paying taxes on it, there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Of course, we have the education committee. That's the ones that went to the school superintendent. I talk about the commissioners getting right on this bus. We talk about the projects, the money they won't spend. Then I have a nominations committee that puts everybody on these committees, and we try not to put one person on all of them. We try to share it out. Solid Waste Committee, Personnel Committee goes over our handbook, EMS, and, of course, the very important Economic Development Board. That was all voted on last night. Hey, we had a busy night.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, we was really busy.
Yeah.
But things went well. The new commissioners are learning what buttons to push and what things to look at in their package, which we got 2 more years on our county commission for the election again.
Yeah.
Now I'm already hearing a lot of ramblings. Who's going to do what and everything else. Yeah. Yeah, I'm already
politics.
It never ends.
Yeah, I know.
It never ends. Yeah. All right, we got into zoning last night. I can tell the economy is slowing down some. Mm-hmm. I can tell. I don't think we're doing as many housing permits, or like somebody's getting a permit to put a driveway in. Yeah. It's slowing down.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it, the free money that came in after COVID was more money than we had material and labor, and it drove inflation up.
Yeah.
It really did. There's only so much wood you could buy, and it drove up the price of everything. But now all that money's getting spent. Mm-hmm. In fact, the county's spending the last of ours redoing inside the old courthouse. Mm-hmm. When I told them when that money's gone, I don't care where we're at, stop right there. Because after that, you got to go back to the taxpayer.
Yeah.
Just stop it. But I think we'll get a long way toward the inside with the bathrooms and stuff for the jurors. And that jury room, I've been upset with it for 30 years now because I was a juror. We just need new bathroom facilities and everything. Yeah. It's just an old building, folks.
That's just it. And it was time for a rehab on it. So you kind of hate that it was forced through the leak damage and stuff, but it was time. So what else you got? Let's keep going. You got a lot there.
Well, we didn't have the 3 zoning issues.
Okay.
And like Ag 2 to residential 40, which is 4,000 square foot lot. We got Ag 2 to R80. R80 is like rural preservation. You can build a house on an 8,000 square foot lot, and what it's doing is giving people more elbow room. Then we had an Ag 2 to another R80 out on a big, large farm out on 161. And when you do here's the whole package, if everybody can see, about zoning for one piece of property. And that piece of property is where the owner's letting a family member build a house on that farm. Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons that, we look at all of that, and all those did pass last night. And now we're going to get into resolutions, and I got 15 minutes.
You got plenty of time. I've still got one ad to do, but we'll save it.
All right, you saving it?
Just keep going. We'll do it.
All right. Hey, we had Bobby Cass was busy last night. He's the chairman of the budget committee, folks, and Bobby does a great job. Sometimes we upset people because what we can't give them, we got wants and needs in this county, and we're going to do the needs first before we get to the wants. So when you come to the budget committee, you need to keep that in mind. Don't everybody get everything they want. In other words. Okay, we had to amend the school budget last night, and it wasn't nothing but they're doing an energy efficient bond, $1,250. You will not believe whether it's 1 penny or it's 100 million pennies. It's going to come through that budget committee. So that was $1,250. Of course, that passed for the schools. We done another budget on the capital outlay. Out there at the landfill, we have a parcel about 100-something acres that is covered up with dirt that used to be the old landfill. But by state law, we have to keep that thing mowed and inspected and be sure it's not seeping out into a creek nowhere. They've got a tractor out there they've been using now for 26 years, and it's really not safe to be on them hillsides. So we're excited to, every year we put $100,000 into the solid waste fund for equipment. You know, some of those loaders and stuff's getting some age on them. This way we're not being caught having spent a lot of money at one time. The money's already been set aside. And they need a new tractor out there. So we had a budget amendment last night for the landfill. Well, you know, it's about the post-closure care and cost of the landfill. So we're purchasing a new tractor for maintenance and safety out there because you got to have a front wheel assist nowadays on that hillside. But, you know, it's just the right thing to do so it'd be safe. And that tractor was 26 years old. But this tractor ought to last till the rest of us is listening. Probably don't need a tractor no more. We got a nice place to take care of one, and trust me, I go out there and be sure they're sitting on the inside, because that's one of my pet peeves, a piece of equipment sitting outside. And
Because it doesn't hold up as well.
no, it don't. Not today. Okay, we had another resolution that come through the drug recovery court. We had a lot of overtime spent. They had an event down at the fairgrounds. You remember that?
I was there.
Okay.
It was the Recovery Fest. Yeah.
We had to pay some overtime for some people to help put that on, and it's kind of like educating people about recovery court.
Yeah, and all the programs of recovery, all the things that we have that are available for recovery. And we had a lot of fun putting Judge Joel Perry in the Duncan booth. It was fun.
Did anybody dunk him?
Oh, yeah. They stood in line.
I bet.
It was excellent. It was hysterical.
Okay, we're not talking about $574, folks, but then we had to pay the overtime and Social Security tax and state retirement and all that. So here we're talking about another $500. Went through the county commission last night. Had a resolution for $55,000, and this here we have an agriculture extension office. You know where it's at? It's right across from the courthouse in the corner there. Used to be the old bank building. We had to put a roof on that joker about a year ago. We're all the time putting roofs on a building. But the windows were leaking and had done ruined all the wood around them and all. We had to spend another $55,000 to fix all of that, and that building will be in good shape for years to come. I'm fixing to leave somebody in good shape.
Yeah.
Now, this money is, we do a certain amount of money every year into our cost for buildings repair. This money will come out of that, and that's 171 is what we call that fund. A lot of stuff gets covered up in the General Capital Project Fund, 171. But that building ought to be in good shape, and this is a building that the state requires us to have. Also, it's room in there. That's where, help me out here, United Way is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
in the bottom.
They're in the bottom.
Yeah, they're in the
yeah, we
basement.
furnish them space for all they do for the county and with the nonprofits. So that building is, man, it's a blessing right there. Got parking, and you know it's just part of Robinson County and around the square. So we're taking care of that project with our 171, and I'm getting down to the end, folks. We got about 10 minutes.
We're good. We're doing good.
Yeah. Okay. We had a resolution last night. This is a bad resolution here. I mean, it's a great resolution. It's bad that it happened. The sheriff had 2 cars totaled a couple of months ago. One of them was in Ridgetop in pursuit of a suspect that ended up ramming the patrol car.
Oh, my goodness.
If I heard this right.
Yeah.
And then there was another one that was rear-ended, being parked on the side of the road doing a ticket, I think.
Oh, that's so dangerous.
Yeah, and somebody brought up, we had to come up with $33,000 after the insurance paid to replace these 2 cars.
Man.
And somebody said, well, is the other people's insurance going to take care of it? Look, when somebody's running from the law, it's a pretty good guess they don't have insurance.
Oh, yeah.
So we're having to take care of it. You know, but these vehicles, some of them had 2 of them had a lot of miles on them, but we're getting 2 new patrol cars for $33,000 after the insurance pays for their part.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. And the only trouble is it takes about a year to get the cars.
Oh, my goodness. I know. Well, and they're outfitted with special, things inside too. But wow, that's amazing to me.
It is. Well, 2 years to get a ambulance.
Yeah, I know.
And so we're ordering them 2 years in advance.
Yeah.
And the only trouble is you got to put that money up. You can't wait 2 years and say, hey, now we got to buy an ambulance. I like to pay for, I'm a bird in the hand man. I don't reach in that bush much for two.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to do a commercial?
Yeah, we can. We need to talk about Veterans Motorplex because they had to postpone this past weekend that wonderful rain, and I'm sure that postpone nothing. They had to cancel this past weekend. I'm sure everybody's like, hey, you know what? We don't mind canceling a race because we need the rain. But that was the Shriners weekend, so I'm sure they're going to try to get that rescheduled. But they did have to cancel this past weekend. But they'll be back at it this weekend, so just get ready for it. They have got big races planned, 2 big events this Saturday at Veterans Motorplex. They've got Legends plus a doubleheader and more, $750 guaranteed to win for the Crown Vics. The Crown Vics are fun to watch run around that track. I've been out there several times, and I absolutely love it. I'd get out there more if I just didn't. My grandson's playing baseball, and that just consumes our lives. And then I got a granddaughter that's playing t-ball, and I mean that's where we are. But I will get my grandson out there before this season's over because I want him to experience this. He's never got to experience the races, and it is a blast. They're at 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier. So this Saturday they're racing again. It will be 2 big events. They want to invite you out, so get out there. The gates will open about 4:15. Racing starts at 7. A $40 ticket will get up to 6 kids and 2 adults in for one $40 ticket price. What a great deal. Great events, great family-friendly environment. If you've not been to the Speedway lately, you don't know what you're missing. They did a lot of renovation out there. It's a beautiful place. Veterans Motorplex at the Rim, at the historic Highland Rim Speedway. You follow them on social media at Highland Rim Speedway. You must do that because that's where you're going to find out if they have any kind of delays like they did and cancellations like they did this past weekend. Highland Rim Speedway is where you follow them, and it is for Veterans Motorplex at the Rim. Get by there. Tell Jerry and all the guys that you turn.
We changed our finance meetings from $10,000 to $25,000. You say, what does that mean, Mayor? Okay, in 2003, anything over $10,000 had to come to the finance committee. Anything. Now everything goes to the budget, but that where we changed that to 25. It's been 21 years. You say, why did we change it? In 21 years, $10,000, what it bought back then will not buy anything now. Mm-mm. So all we was doing was paperwork. I mean, if you bought a case of paper clips, we was doing paperwork. This here gives the power to the schools to use their people, not to have to come in front of all this paperwork when they're doing purchasing anything under $25,000. Okay. School board takes care of that, and it's in-house. If it's bigger than that, yes, they come to finance. But if it's not, it's just what it is. Inflation has changed the price. Can you imagine if they're buying you can't even buy a new car for $25,000.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so why would you go to finance and say, hey, can I get permission to buy this when he won't buy it? Mm-hmm. So this is happening all over the state, folks. It's just something the comptroller's office realizes that we was burying ourselves in paperwork. And with labor and situation, it was just need to be done to keep up with the times. Okay, we had a water easement. We got a piece of property on Highway 76, and the city of Springfield needed to come through the county property. They're extending that water line and making it bigger out toward the high school there at Springfield. So we done an easement with the city to where they give them permission to do that, and that goes through the county commission. Okay, we got one more here where the deals with transportation of litter removal and waste in Robinson County. There are grants out there we can get, and me and the sheriff has to sign a letter saying that we are doing everything right, everything's being took care of, and that could be a beneficiary of a grant when they do come out.
Okay.
So we signed that, and I think we're getting down pretty close. Had the resolution of surplus property from schools, all those limousines that they was talking about, the buses. There must be 21 of them here. If you want to buy an old school bus, they will be auctioned off. And I noticed there's a couple pickups Here's an 87 Chevy box truck, which I made and is wore out. And here's an old wreck school bus if you want to just use the frame. But that's that all goes in front of the county commission. Yeah. Yeah. And the last but not least, Stacy Springs Roads, if you live out there, we've had complaints about speeders. Usually when we pave a road, it starts. It's Daytona Speedway. That speed limit has been knocked down to 35 mile an hour for the safety of the people living on that road. And I think if it's very curvy, 35 is plenty with them school buses going up and down that road.
Oh, yeah. Those.
And LaVern, at that, we had our notaries, and Bubba Doris made a motion to adjourn.
Well, there you go. We got it in, brother.
Got it in.
We talked about it. I was a little concerned. I saw that stack of papers, and I thought, well, we better stay on topic and make sure you get all this in. I tell you, there are a couple of side notes for us. The Autumn in the Briar is this weekend. And I have not had any openings to bring them in, and I do apologize. We've been just jam-packed full, and I'll take another look at the calendar and see if there's been any openings. But I will not be here on Friday. I have an event I've got to attend, so Lee Marie will be covering Friday, so I'm not sure what she's got coming in. But we do want to make sure you know about Autumn in the Briar, and this is Greenbrier's big fall festival, but it's happening all day long on Saturday, and there's going to be all kinds of music. They've got food. It will be a wonderful time, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. But Autumn in the Briar is this weekend, don't forget. And then my dear friend Tommy Marsh, their big blues festivals this weekend at the fairgrounds, and that's another one. Trying to get him in here, and he just didn't have, with the festival approaching, he's been so covered up and busy, he didn't really have time to come in and really talk about it. But it is this weekend at the fairgrounds. So Saturday is the Blues Festival, and that is an excellent time. I was there last year. I'm tickled that they've got it earlier this year because it was really cold last year. I think it was on into October, and we about froze. But this year, I think the weather's going to be perfect. And I mean, you talk about music. Oh my goodness, this talent that he brings in for this Blues Festival, $25 ticket. He puts this on himself and pays these artists to come out. I mean, he just loves blues so much. Yeah. And do you know Tommy?
Yeah.
Crooked Eye Tommy? He's a hoot, man. He's so much fun. But he's one of our transplants here that came in, I don't know, probably 5 years ago from California and just immersed himself in the county and is working on the fair board, did all the music for the fair. But really, please, please, please go out if you possibly can. I have a family wedding on Saturday and I can't be there. And it's killing me because, of course, I want to be at our wedding. But the Blues Festival is a great time and cannot say enough about it. Get to the Blues Festival this weekend as well. Get to the Autumn in the Briar. But you will not regret just spending time in our county and enjoying all the beautiful things we got going on. Wouldn't you say so?
That's right.
There you go.
LaVern handed me two little Jesuses here, and I couldn't remember. I was somewhere last night, and I seen the little Jesus. Well, I remember now I was at Melanie Stark's desk.
Okay.
When I was doing the county commission. She
Yeah.
had one up there. And folks, she hands them out. And if somebody gets in your grill, you need to reach in your pocket and say, hey, you need a little Jesus.
That's right.
And that'll stop that argument right there.
And I'll tell you, I think this became, I had my physical therapist, Dr. Bethany Tees up at Star Physical Therapy. She had, their preacher had given them to them. And they all had them in their pockets. And I was like, oh, that's great for something I was going to teach at, I do some of the teaching at Celebrate Recovery at Madison Church of Christ. And I had a lesson. I said, we always talk about how that Celebrate Recovery is different from different recovery programs because a lot of recovery programs, they talk about their higher power, but they never name the higher power. Well, the difference with Celebrate Recovery, we say it's Jesus. It's Jesus and God. And so Jesus is our higher power. And so our little moniker at our Celebrate Recovery at Madison is, we are, we use the steps of the AA, but unlike AA, we name our higher power. It's Jesus Christ. So if you're having trouble with your recovery, why don't you try little Jesus? And we give all of our newcomers little Jesuses. And you can get these at Crossroads Christian, by the way. Nancy called and said you can get them at Crossroads Christian. But they're popping up everywhere. I think there's I'm not on TikTok. I will never be on TikTok, but they have little videos and stuff of people leaving them at different places. Yeah. And, so it's pretty cute.
Yeah.
I think it's neat.
Just a reminder to everybody, 5 days ago, we had our 911 memorial up at the office building. And it's like I said, there for a few minutes, a few days, a few weeks, and a few months, we was all one nation under God again. So let's never forget that.
Yeah, and I saw the little banner that went out all over the place last week is if you want to honor those that were killed on 9/11, be who we were on 9/12.
That's right.
I like that. Yeah. I like that a lot. It's 8 o'clock, brother.
Hey, everybody have a good day, and I get to work for Robeson County today.
Amen. Me too. And happy Constitution Week, y'all. Go get a trash. Let's Talk Trash magazine that you'll find laying all over the place for the kiddos, and that's from the Keenan Group, and they do an excellent job, and they have a special feature for the Constitution in there during the month of Constitution Week. So, and there's all kinds of wonderful stuff in there. And appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. This is 1100 WSGI. Have a fabulous day.
There's a million things I'd like to do to serve my Lord. There's a million sinful pleasures I cannot afford. All the worldly things I might achieve, though great or small.